what we're going to do today is a little snippet of what the next 5-week course that we have planned, where we'll delve deeper into the whole idea of designing a startup, right from the idea to creating a tangible, marketable, and scalable product. Um, so, to start with, I think let's talk about what the word startup means to you, right? What is our current understanding of that word? Now, if you were to ask me, I would say um, problem solving. So when I think startup, I think problem solving. I think of a room full of people sitting with a whiteboard and just going at it, like doing a literal brain dump, which is also an idea that we will speak about in one of our sessions, which is the idea of a brain dump, a very solution driven brain dump, where once we put all the ideas out, we then build a systems map to figure out, okay, how do we find a solution within this? So the first thing that comes to my mind is problem solving. And if I have to assign an emotion to it or pair an emotion to it, it would be courage. Why courage? Is because the truth is that most startups do fail. You require a certain level of emotional intelligence in order to endure the pain, the challenges, all the unexpected things that are thrown your way. So, to start with, I think I'd want to do a small exercise just of understanding to open up our minds toward the word startup. So, let's take 3 minutes and whatever is the first thing that comes to your mind, if it's a vision or a word or a person, that's one thing. And then let's pair that with an emotion that you feel when you think of the startup world. Like what I just did here, which was my word was problem solving, and my emotion was courage and perseverance. So I'll start the timer for 3 minutes, and let's take that time and for you to define what your current understanding of a startup is. As soon as we're done, we'll run through the room and discuss that. For everyone who's joining in now, we just went through a small introduction to the course, which is called Design Your Startup. And we're in the middle of our first exercise, which essentially is just inviting you to form an understanding of what your current understanding of a startup is. Is it a vision? Is it a word? Is it a person? And let's pair that with an emotion that you feel when you think of the startup world. And an example that I gave was the word that I think of when I think of the startup world is problem solving, solutions driven. And an emotion that I feel is courage, is perseverance. So we're in the middle of the 3 minutes, about halfway down, but you can just quickly note down what your understanding.
folks, just please be sure to mute yourselves if you're not sharing at the moment. I think we have 2 or 3 microphones off, so there's some feedback coming back.
We're almost. And we're done. So how about we start with you, Sheila? Oh, you're muted.
Okay, the word that came to mind for me, strangely, was concretization. And so I wrote a definition: concretization of a broad idea to a single doable focus. Because we a lot of times have ideas, but we don't get them to happen. And the emotion was something of a mix of excitement and patient persistence. Like start with the excitement, but then patience.
That's very, very accurate.
Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay. So for me, what I thought of is my understanding of a startup is that it's a person or group of people starting up that in hopes to launch an idea that is disruptive and hopefully either profitable or impactful, depending on what the end goal is, whether it's a nonprofit or whether it's something for profit. Ideally answering an opening and a need in an industry. From my perspective, ideally a startup would be something that one's passionate about, because it's also an enormous amount of work in order to get it done. So the emotion that came up for me was exhausted perseverance. So that's it.
It's amazing. You have some very important words there: disruptive, passion, perseverance. And we will be speaking about all of that when we go ahead. Impact was another one that you mentioned. So
impact, yeah. Right. All right. Thank you.
Radhika?
So not a definition as such, but I think the words that came to my mind were creative and passion. So I'm not sure if passion really falls as part of an emotion, but I think as Sanchez mentioned, to kind of be driven and have that sort of perseverance to go after a goal that you've envisioned, which is where I think creativity also comes in mind.
There's a common thread.
Yeah.
Krishnan?
Okay. I think it's an effort by a small group of like-minded friends or people who want to bring some idea to the marketplace and make it work. When they set out, it is always, a list of more questions than answers. And that journey from that first day when they assemble as a group to reaching that level when they feel like they do have a viable product. By viable, I mean a business sense wise, that feeling of exhilaration is the thought that comes to me. Like Sneha said, for one exhilaration, probably there are a million failures, but obviously everyone that sets out, he wants to be that 1 in a million or 1 in 1,000. So that journey in itself is, full of, I know it has a lot of setbacks as we go along, but I think the element of exhilaration comes to me as a word, provided we are one in that million.
Very positive. Saksham?
Yeah. So what the word that came to my mind was potential. And just to elaborate a bit on the definition was quick solutions to small problems that have the potential for scale, complexity, and high impact. So starts out small but has great and enormous potential. Um, and when I look at that potential, something that for someone to chase that, there are two things that are required. One, heavy calculation, and the second is a lot of hope. So as a broader sense of calculated risk, I thought that the emotion that I would like to associate with it would be calculated hope.
Very cool. I like that. Levy?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
So my word was incubator. I've always thought of startups as being an incubator. And in order to be an incubator, I always feel like there's a sense of risk, a sense of freedom, and that you're opening yourself up to any possibility in terms of what you are interested in, where you want to go, where you want to take it, and the fact that that's not entirely predetermined. I mean, unless it is predetermined, in which case, good for you. You know exactly what you want to do. But the emotional words that I came up with were twofold. One, something along the lines of being a bit frivolous, because it allows you to, on the one hand, take yourself seriously, but on the other hand, not take yourself so seriously. So you can kind of stretch yourself a bit more to figure out what you actually want. Whereas I think if you take yourself too seriously in the very beginning, you end up saying no to things that could actually be possible options. And therefore, the last word I came up with was bold. That in order to do something like this, you have to be a bit bold, a bit headstrong, and a bit, as you said, courageous. But I think boldness is a bit encourages you to step out of your shell a bit more.
Yeah, it's something that is more risky. Courageous, I would correlate it with something which is, I would say, calculated hope. I think with courage is like calculated hope. I like that word a lot. But bold is something you don't know. It's with I associate it with not having it being so calculated, just sort of going for it.
Yeah.
Great. That's really cool. Linda?
Oh God. I'm listening more than participating today. I don't know anything about startups, okay? But I'm curious.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's not a problem. Alyssa? How about we move over to Lindsay? Do we have anyone else here who, Maritza, sorry.
Hi, how are you? The first thing I think about when I hear startup, it's I would say perseverance, and you have to be resilient to changes and willing to risk everything for your ideal.
And I think, thank you for that. I think that's actually the perfect segue when you say idea. And I think that is the focus of today's masterclass, um, about putting value in your ideas. So, what you all had right here today are your insights of the world, your observations, right? And these observations are what translate into ideas. Um, Now, the way I think of ideas, and let's think of ideas as already floating around you all the time, right? It's only when you sit still, when you observe, when you are completely in touch with like the pulse of the environment around you, your surroundings, is when you happen to catch an idea. These already exist around you. You just have to allow yourself to catch one. Now, what most entrepreneurs and artists do is they surround this caught idea with their preconceived notions of the world. They cloud it with doubt and judgment and comparisons of, oh, this other person's already thought of this idea, and maybe I don't want to put my attention to it. Maybe I won't be as good. And they tend to let this idea go. And that's what usually happens, is that before you even sit and stew and mull over the idea, you let it go because you cloud it. And this is a problem most entrepreneurs face because they are creative thinkers and they come up with multiple ideas in a day. Now, which ones do you want to hold on to? How do you hold on to them? And that's what we want to dive deeper into today, is how do we think just for a moment without judging it, without thinking that who's going to use this product? Is this even possible to make? How do I scale it? How do I market it? Is there a marketable, like, is there a market size? Who is my consumer? Those are things that you think of later. And let's try this exercise, which I think is which is a really important exercise where you don't even allow your mind the time to think of anything else, to think of the logistics. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a whiteboard and all of you shoot words at me, anything, right? We'll make a group of 20 words and then I'll assign each one of you 2 words. Now, with those 2 words, you have to come up with a product idea in 7 minutes. I'll run through this again, but do not think about anything but a cool way to put these 2 products, these 2 words together to build a product. Think of it as a massage for your mind almost, like you're just relaxing the mind and allowing it to think without any layers of additional thought. Now, I'll give you an example. Now, let me pick 2 words. Let's say tea and socks. Socks and tea, right? These are 2 words that I have. What are the things that come to my mind when I think of socks and tea? I think cozy, I think intimate, I think winter, I think warm, right? So now, how do we put these 2 things together to build a product? And this has to be a pitch, right? Like, I'm going to pitch it to you so that you believe it, right? Like, I have to believe and I have to see the product that I'm making, even if it's hideous, for you to believe that this is possible or it can be made, or for you to envision it as well. So let's think of tea and socks, right? Let me see. So think of, okay, so imagine there is this pair of socks, which when you wear it, it's always warm, like tea. And it's integrated with an app which allows you to choose a flavor. So say I choose on the app rose. So my socks automatically turn to this pinkish color and it automatically starts smelling like roses. Cool. I mix the idea of a sock and tea, and this is a product. It's ridiculous. I'm not thinking about how is this sock going to be heated all the time? How is this sock going to change color? Where am I going to get it to smell like roses? I'm not thinking about those logistics. I'm just putting the two words together and coming up with a product idea. This is a tech product because I put in the app element of it, but it could be absolutely anything, right? So that's what I mean. We're going to allow ourselves to just think freely without any sort of clouding of the mind. So I'm going to open up my whiteboard and type in all your ideas. Hold on. Saraf, can you just help me with that? I'm having a little bit of trouble. Okay, how about we do this? How about you throw it out and I write it down and then I'll assign the words to you. Just go for it. Like the 20 that hit my ears will, how many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we need 26 words. So let's go. Anything.
Banana.
Banana.
Ah,
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was laughing when somebody said banana because that was the first word that popped into my head. I wanted to say banana. Sorry.
Hair dryer.
Clock.
Umbrella.
Plush,
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
a plushie, like a teddy bear.
Ah, okay.
Plushie. Okay.
A spatula.
Ice cream and calculator.
Ice cream and calculator. Okay.
A spatula.
Spatula.
A pen.
A pen.
Video.
Video. Okay.
Telephone.
Sunglasses.
Play.
Play.
Play. You can take it any way you want. Mm.
A ballot box.
Ha.
Puzzle.
Okay.
How many
Spectacle.
words are we up to?
Spectacle. We're on 16 now. We have 10 more to go.
Okay, spectacle.
Racket.
A racket. Okay.
A party.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Mm. Mm.
A cartoon.
A bicycle.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last one.
I was throwing out the word party.
Party. Something we haven't been doing in a while.
Yeah,
I
Lord
don't know
knows
if
we need
anyone
one.
I don't know if anybody said bear, but I would say huggy bear. It's like a toy. Huggy bear.
Cool. We have like a teddy bear.
Oh,
We
okay.
can have a huggy bear.
One person left, so you only need 24 now.
Okay, so we're on 22.
Okay.
Finances. Finances.
Finances. Okay. For Arun, who just joined us, just give me 2 more words, any random words. I'll give you the context in a while.
A calendar.
Two more words.
An envelope.
Okay. And let me say a towel. I'll put in the last one.
Okay. Well, a towel is most important.
Yeah. Oh. Perfect. So right now we have banana, hair dryer, clock, umbrella. teddy bear, ice cream, calculator, spatula, pen, sunglasses, play, ballot box, puzzle, spectacle, racket, inspiration, cartoon, party, huggy bear, finances, calendar, and an envelope. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assign everybody 2 words randomly. I'm going to pick them. I'm just going to repeat my initial instruction just because we have someone who just joined us. So everyone will be given 2 words, 2 random words put together. The whole idea is in 7 minutes, do not attach any logic or thought as to how to build this product. Just combine the 2 words and come up with an idea. The focus is to massage your mind to allow it to think freely. So I gave a little example, which was where I took tea and socks. And those words reminded me of intimacy. So what I did was to come up with these socks, which are always heated like tea, and they smell like tea. And there's an app through which you can choose what kind of tea you want it to be. So rose socks. So suddenly your socks are pink, they're warm, and they smell like roses, for example. And that's my pitch to you, right? So this is exactly what we're going to do is we're going to take 7 minutes, just 7 minutes, which I think is a good enough time to not go into the depths of doubt. So just take this time and I'm going to just tell you your 2 words, right? So Margaret, I'm going to give you umbrella and a pen. Okay. Sheila will give you a calendar and a cartoon. Okay. Sanchez will give you a calculator and a hairdryer. We're going to give Krishnan finances and ice cream. Radhika, I'll give you the towel and a party.
I like mine already.
Let's give Saksham a puzzle and a spatula. Levy, an envelope and sunglasses. Linda, we'll give you just one moment. We'll give you the telephone and a teddy bear. Alyssa, a spectacles, and inspiration. Maritza will give you the video and a banana. And Arun will give you the ballot box and a clock. I hope everyone has their 2 words. You can put a little thumbs up in the chat. Or the one.
I'm sorry. My word, Maritza, was it video and banana?
Video and a banana. Yeah.
Thank you.
So no logic. At the end of the 7 minutes, you guys just have to come and pitch your idea. No matter how crazy it is, no matter what it is, it's your idea. So here we go. We have 7 minutes on the clock and go. I'm right here if you have any questions. Hi, Mary.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, sounds like Mary Lynn. Join us. We're coming up. Everybody has 2 words and you're going to write your startup. Sneha can explain it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Hi, Mary, welcome. We're just in the middle of an exercise where I'll be giving you just 2 random words. For example, you know, Saksham, who just left us, got 2 words, which is puzzle and spatulas. And it's to come up with an idea that mixes the two words without putting any logic to it. So if I have to just think, I'd be like, okay, a puzzle and spatulas. So a way for a spatula to have like puzzled corners where you can switch out the shape of it to become a different kind of spoon. For example, like I'm just thinking out loud. So the idea is to make a product with the two random words that you're assigned. So I can give you racket and a glass. Let me know if you have any questions. We have just over a minute left. About 15 seconds. If any of you need more time, we can wait. But the whole idea is to not allow your time to think too much. There we are. So time's up, and I'm excited. I'm excited to hear all your ideas. Pitch it to me. I need to see that you believe it, even if it's crazy, right? Like you need to be able to see your product, and only when you see it will I be able to see it through your words, right? So let's start with you, Sheila. You had a calendar and cartoon.
I love calendars. So I came up with an animal bird cartoon calendar, and each month on your gigantic calendar will be hosted by an amazing, incredible, inspiring animal or bird. And for each month, there's a theme, there's a little bit of a story, some colors. So January might be a kind of sleepy sloth, and then moving along,
I'm gonna go with the satin.
I went with a few different animal characters. I'd have to really sit down. I have in February kind of cold weather Valentine's. I have a furry hearted huggy bear. And then in March, I have for spring coming a robust robin ready for spring action. But each inspiration will have something to do with a startup. So you've created your startup in January, and each month you're going to have some steps to take. So by I'll just say real quickly, by July, you're breakneck speed dog because you've got to get it done before September. And then September, I have a queen of the bees, busy something. I didn't get further than that, but each month we'll have a cartoon character to keep your startup moving.
Very cool.
As far as I got. Okay.
And I'm just thinking, like, if there's a way to, like, if you just think tech, like, if there's a way that calendar could even move, like, if there's a way for it to even be on it could be a screen. I remember working with this company. They were building like a screened calendar where it could have a mood on it. So the way you're talking about like a lazy sloth, it could be the mood for January.
Yes.
That's a really cool idea.
Mood and color. Yeah.
It could move. It could have an element of movement and a mood to it as well, just to think more on it. So on to Meg. You had a pen and an umbrella.
All right. So this is the pen. The pen can write on any surface in any weather, in all weather, and records. It's made out of titanium. It can, with 4 clicks of the pen, it will transform into a colorful umbrella using your most recent words, which will appear on the protected part of the umbrella. So it can transform those words all the time. You can get new words all the time, but it'll be colorful. And that is the pen.
I love that. That is such a good pitch to start with, because you not only thought of an innovative product, but you thought of material, you thought of the color, you thought of the appearance of the product. It was extremely visual. Like the minute you told me, I could automatically imagine it. The detail of like 4 clicks, right? Like, so those are the things. I loved it. So good. Very good pitch. Sanchez, you had a calculator and a hairdryer.
Yes. I had a calculator and a hairdryer, and I came up with this. What that did to me is it inspired ideas based on watching my teenage daughter do TikTok beauty videos, right? And Instagram beauty videos. So this probably already exists, but my idea is it's an app, and the name of the app is Countdown to Glow Up. It's an app or a function of an app website that calculates, you put in how much time you have and how much budget you have to get ready for an evening out, say or a work, or a meeting or a party or something like that, right? You enter in a desired idea of look, and you can choose a category, either hair or complete, glow up look, right? And it calculates how much time and how much money it will take, right? Now users can upload their own instructional videos. So you can do an algorithm, or you can just say, inspire me. I have 20 minutes to get ready. Or you can put in keywords like 1940s or Lizzo, right? And then there are video instructions for that exact amount of time that it will take, or that exact amount of money, plus the instructional videos. And you can monetize it by putting in like sponsors like Fenty Beauty, MAC, or you can also have, get people to look at it by highlighting different hair and makeup stylists, so on and so forth. So you can either go with how much time you have, how much money you have, or just inspire me, or but it's also users can upload their own videos that give that exact amount of time or that exact amount of money or under to achieve a certain look. So it's a creative beauty inspiration app.
Creative beauty inspiration app. I love it. And the one thing to note here is that the reason that you already thought of the market, you already thought of the user, you were thinking about how the person's interacting with your product, is because you have a backstory. And I think that is where we need to put our attention to, is right? Mm-hmm. She immediately thought of her daughter or like a friend and TikTok videos. So you were able to pull out from your customer because you were already picturing them in your mind. It's a story. And I think that's the most important in building a startup, is the story. The minute you have a story, which is where your passion comes out of, right? Is when the ideas flow. because you're already thinking about, oh, Lizzo, oh, if they do this, it'll be more interactive, it'll be more intuitive, they will like it more, right? So you're already thinking customer, customer, customer. So yeah, so that's a super important takeaway from what you just said. No, like it's an incredible product, but it rooted out of a story. And the funny thing about the brain is these two words, right? Your brain connects them. It has all these observations of them already. It forms a problem and a solution the minute it hears these words. You just have to allow it to have that time, the 7 minutes, to put those two random words together and discover a connection. You take any two words in the world, the connection exists, to build something. But you have to allow yourself the time for it, which we just did. Incredible. Thank you, Sanchez. Krishnan, you had ice cream and finances.
Okay. Ice cream immediately takes my mind to hot summer days, and finance, along with that, the word that comes is vacation. So summer vacation. When I look at the word ice cream and finance, it is a summer vacation time. Vacation means it needs finance, and ice cream kind of relates to summer. And the thought that comes to me, more than a product, it is a service where instead of, vacation planning always is a major task for any family. A lot of discussions happen as to where we want to go, what kind of place, what kind of things that we want to do there. And it is limited by the budget that you have. So I was kind of, the thought comes like, if there is a way that we put that dollar value or rupee value that we want to spend on vacation within all the parameters and our likes and dislikes, the app or the program should be able to tell us the 5 or 6 options rather than we picking the places and working out the cost and then finding it's kind of overshooting the budget. We put a number there, say $5,000 or $2,000, 7-day trip, 4 family members, a beach or a hill station within, and then it throws the option out to you. I think that vacation planning process could be a lot more happier and easier, I feel. So that's where it's rather than a product, my thoughts go into a service facilitating sort of a thing.
That's incredible. And a service is also a product. Let's not confuse a product only being something which is tangible, something that we can touch and feel. It can also be a service. Most tech startups are services. PayPal is a service. ClassPass is a service. So when we say product, we also mean product/service. And I think I like the idea of how the idea just flew, right? The thought of ice cream and finances somehow reached summer, which somehow then reached a vacation, and then became this sort of app idea which plans your vacation, because the minute your brain heard vacation, your brain threw out a problem statement which is planning vacation, right? And then your brain came up with this solution that you just came up with right now, which is an app which essentially plans your vacations, which goes back to what I just said. 2 words they already have an integration in your mind. When you allow that time, it throws out a problem and automatically throws out a solution based off of your observations. So let's go on to Radhika, I'm really excited about this one, which is towel.
Oh my God.
So let's go.
Right. So
So in terms of thinking about the words, party automatically throws up just, fun, a lot of people. Could be a pool party, could be a party just at someone's house. And a towel is just something compact, something convenient to just have on you. Um, and a lot of times when you go to a party, a towel is actually something that's either been used too much or just something that you don't actually want to use someone else's. And given the pandemic, more so. So, what's the easiest way to probably have something like a towel on you or something? So, I think I was thinking or ideating on having, say, a cloth or like a t-shirt or something which actually has an inner lining of a quickly drying towel. So even if you think about a pool party, you can probably wear a t-shirt and which kind of doubles up as in you can open it up and it kind of actually becomes a towel. Or if you're actually just going to a party, you have like an inner lining in your t-shirt which you can just quickly use to probably just dry off your hands or whatnot. So I think that's the kind of product, basically a clothing line with an inside lining of a towel.
I love that. And that's just not specific to parties. It's, I think your problem statement came out of the whole thing of not wanting to share a towel at a party. But I would use that t shirt even outside of a party. Like if I'm going for a run or anything where you need a quick dry off is where you can use that. So that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Linda, you had a teddy bear and a telephone.
So I hate alarm clocks when to wake you up. So I was thinking of and then there's always a problem if you have your phone, your cell phone in the room, like it bings. So I imagined a teddy bear. It would be midnight blue when you went to bed, would have a pocket that was soundproof in the back that you could put your phone in. And so it wouldn't bing or you wouldn't be tempted to use it. And then as dawn came or your time to get up, the colors would change of the bear and it would become a light sky blue. And his lights, the eyes might get brighter. I mean, it's not that original. They were all clocks like that. And so that was my idea. I was even thinking maybe the bear could call your name or make a sound you like to help you wake up. But I like the idea of gently waking up.
Let's not discount it by saying, oh, they already existed, but let's build on it. Like, what else can this little bear do? Could it wake you up with a hug? Like, I'd love that. Like, if, you know,
good.
I mean, not in a creepy way, but like, if it just gave me a little hug and woke me up, I don't know. But like, I mean, we can build on it. I think it's cool. I like the idea of it changing colors.
I actually was thinking, but I didn't know if it'd be too weird. Like if it was made of a very soft material, it could sort of just stroke your arm very gently. But I didn't know if that was too creepy.
We all need a hug.
How do I connect to face recognition?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah, it could have face recognition to make sure it's like stroking the right person.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that. That's weird. That's the point. Like, let it get weird. Weirder, the better. Let me. So we have sunglasses and
an envelope. That was me. So I actually, for a good portion of the pandemic, can you guys hear me okay? Okay. So for a good portion of the pandemic, I've actually been taking in other people's mail. And for one of my friends, they happen to get a lot of financial statements that come in the mail. And what I basically do is I open their envelopes and I send the contents of the envelopes to where they're currently staying. So I basically forward the mail, but I try to compile it into as few envelopes as possible. And given the fact that some of the material is a bit sensitive, what I thought would be interesting is to have some sort of envelope where the minute you put all the documentation in, it's like a security feature. The minute you put the documentation in the envelope, and say, click a button on the envelope. It automatically encodes all the documents so that it can't be read by anybody unless they have the proper matching sunglasses. And the sunglasses would then allow them to read the contents of the envelope. And it could be, it could also be a kind of product that's like a gag gift for like two lovers that like to send love letters. They don't want anybody else to read their love letters. So they code their envelopes to only be read by the other person, and they have to have their special sunglasses to read them, And if you think, I was looking at it more from I was looking at it as a security tool, and I was looking at it, like even the sunglasses, say you're in a warehouse, the sunglasses could allow you to pick up, certain coatings or certain light emanating from certain packaging that comes out. Say you're looking for a high priority package, you can click a button on your sunglasses and automatically any product that's tagged with that high priority tag would illuminate. You with the sunglasses would see it. Nobody else would see it, so it wouldn't really bother anybody else in the room, but it would allow you to find the package that you're looking for faster.
I love that. I think that's an incredible idea. It could also have like a feature where you can immediately sort of share it with someone in like a encrypted scan or something. Like if you want to have
well, I was trying to get away from like the Google Glass idea, and I was trying to get away from having it being Wi-Fi enabled. I wanted it to be something that was more standalone, because you're not always in an environment where you want the information that you're reading or looking at to be transmitted anyplace else. That's why I was looking at it as a security feature. But yes, it could be a flexible tool where, there's another version of it that does that. Like there could be multiple types of sunglasses that are used for reading, different types of material, and for coding different types of material, and for, sharing different types of material. I'm open to the possibilities.
I love that. I think it's a very marketable idea. It is.
Yeah, I like I said, my emphasis was more on security, having, because there are people that do like to send documents in a secure envelope rather than email. They don't want it to necessarily be on a server stored somewhere, Yeah.
I love that. That's such a cool idea. I'm already thinking of how to build it. It's amazing. Very inspiring.
Thank you.
Let's go on to Maritza. And you had, okay.
Banana and video. I came up with the idea of an app that refer customers to nearby supermarkets that offer the best bananas, and by showing real-time video of the bananas. And this way, I think customers will avoid going to those supermarkets that have bad bananas. It will save time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I was able to come up with.
Hey, we could compare you. We could take your app and implement it into my sunglasses.
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's what I was thinking. I think.
Yeah, so as you're walking down the street and you decide you need to go grocery shopping, you can click the sunglasses and it would show you who has the best bananas, and you can see them. I think that's yeah. I like that idea though of real-time product envisioning, like the having the app to show you the bananas, like, because I know, like, when I go to Whole Foods lately, they've been out of peanut butter, and it drives me nuts. I've gone 3 times in the last 2 weeks and they've been out of peanut butter. So having something that actually updates you with the stock that's actually in the store, so you can actually go in to get it versus ordering it, I think that's actually a really smart idea.
You.
Let's move on to Arun, and then we'll talk a little bit about. Let's move on to Arun.
Hi, so my words are ballot box and clock. So I'm thinking of an app which permits early voting as an alternative to the mail-in system that I believe states has, even India has the same, only though for more limited kinds of voters.
Can everyone mute themselves except for Arun? Because there's a disturbance.
Yeah, so I think it's all right. Yeah, so just an app that permits early voting, not one that extends to actually voting electronically, that is to say on polling day, just as an alternative to physically mailing your vote, especially in the context of maybe presidents trying to destabilize the mailing system, or otherwise you can have a system that is by way of an app. I do see issues with it. The more I thought about it, the more I thought, how can you secure it? It's not quite like banking. It does nothing for encouraging voter participation. But even so, at least today, where it's easier to find internet at places than post office, it should be available to voters.
I like that.
That's about it.
What to say given the time we're in right now, but it's slightly sensitive, but I think it's a great idea. Definitely the voting process needs to be a lot easier than it is today. And there is a lot of scope for product development in that space. So I think just as a exercise, what we should do is take ballot box and pick another 10 words and just keep mixing the two with ballot box. And maybe we come up with an idea that sort of clicks and that's scalable. But it's definitely something that we can ponder over. And these were all extremely incredible ideas. I think I loved Meg's idea of the umbrella and levies. It's all, I'm just thinking, my mind's working. And I hope your minds are working as well. And what we do in this course for the rest of the course is essentially, in the longer 5-week course, is work further on your startup ideas and build it into a pitch deck. Now, what does a pitch deck consist of, right? So now let's take Levy's idea of the envelope and the sunglasses, right? So he was able to, the first thing that we need in a pitch deck is the problem statement, where his problem was extremely defined, right? It said that it came from a story which said, I have to open all these mails. I need to stifle through them. A lot of them are confidential. I need an easier way to go about the process. Simple problem statement. What is the solution that he came up with? Is this innovative product where the spectacle is able to sort of scan if something's confidential, if there's a particular one that you're looking at, that's a solution. The third thing that we look at is customer validation, which is the most important aspect, right? Today we worked on ideas. It's about letting your mind be free and truly hone in on the ideas. But where we go into customer validation is where your logistics come through, where we go actually out on the streets for our primary validation, where we learn what questions to ask, how to ask customers, not to have any leading questions, to get your validation that does the market even need this product. In your head, it might be the next like Apple, but you need enough customer validation sometimes, not always, but most times, to actually work on your idea further, to make sure you're giving the customer something they want, right? And you're solving an actual problem. That's your why. And that's what you have to hold on to when you have to sustain your business, when challenges are thrown at you. The next thing we do is talk about the product and the features themselves. So in the case of the spectacles, we will go into understanding how are we sourcing these spectacles? Are we working with engineers? What is the team that we need? We're forming the supply chain. Where are we sourcing the little raw materials, right? How much is it going to cost? So we're going to build the entire supply chain and logistics of the product itself. This is a tangible product. In the case of an app, we'll figure out how do we want to design the app? How do we want to make it more intuitive? How do we make the whole user experience and service more catered to an individual user? right? Do we want to integrate AI? Questions like that. We will ask those questions and figure out the best way you want to market your product, right? We'll then move into the competitive advantage. So the competitive advantage is where we build a landscape of where your product or service stands in the landscape of what exists in the world today. So for example, when Airbnb started, in their competitive landscape, there may have been couch surfing, right? Or other services that existed at that point. Now we'll build two axes on, one would be cost, one would be features, for example, right? And we place the product to understand how your product or service has a competitive advantage compared to the rest. After that, we figure out the market size, which is one of the most important features and requires the most secondary research, right? To understand, okay, the customers validated my product. They say that, yes, they do need these sunglasses. They do need something that can scan their items and tell them whether it's safe. But what is the market size, right? Now, how do we determine that? There are these many people who receive mail, for example. There are these many people out of those people who receive confidential email or who need this conference. And then we'll find other elements through which we can come down to a number that this is my market size, right? If there are 100 million people getting mail and there are 20 million people who have confidential mail, and then we put in another metric where we're able to determine, okay, my market size is 5 million people. And then once you know that market size and you know it's 5 million people, you'll automatically come up with ways, which is what we'll work through, to market it to those 5 million people, right? And then that will bring us to the revenue model. The minute you think of marketing, we think of revenue model. We think of, okay, do we want to have it be a subscription-based model? Do we want it to be a service-based model? Do we want it to be an EMI sort of based model where we're giving staggered payments, etc. And then lastly, it's the launch strategy. It's like, I'm here today. I have my idea today on November 2nd, 2020, and I want to launch this product on December 21st, 2021. And then we work backwards on what all we need to do from December 21 to November 2nd, right? And we work on that. And that is your solid pitch deck, where we've defined a problem, a solution, we've had customer validation, we have your product and its features, we have competitive advantage, your market size, revenue model, and your launch strategy, right? And this is your pitch deck. It'll be extremely convincing, which you can then go ahead and pitch to potential investors, which at the end of our course, we'll have a demo day where each of the students will pitch their ideas to a group of jury, right? So yeah, I mean, that's sort of to sum up the entire course. But what we did today is focus on the idea. And I think that is going to be the majority. The first few sessions are going to be that, just to allow your mind to open, think freely, and not assign judgment to it, and placing value in the idea itself. But yeah, I'm excited to see if all of you there, hopefully. And yeah, let's build a startup.